What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We're getting ready for our live stream here. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone's day is off to a good start. Exciting action going on the market. The market's definitely been picking up the last couple of weeks. We're finally seeing some volatility. Very, very nice, offering lots of opportunity. Let's see where the opportunity lies today. Whoever jumped in here first and hit that like, big up to you. Appreciate it. Thank you for setting this off, kicking this off on a really good start. Like that. Appreciate that. We're a little bit early today. I'm about 10 minutes earlier. I was seeing if I was going to start getting on a little bit earlier each day right now. But before we get into the analysis, I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to get up in here. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all doing really well. Usman, King, Mima, Orilan. Wavi, I think this is the first time we've seen you in here. Hey, welcome. Glad that you're in here with us today. That's awesome. We have big. So Australian dollar is definitely the strongest currency today. That was set off by the Australian bank being on hold and less dovish. Listen, before we get into the analysis today, if go into the description, if you're not in the Telegram group receiving the alerts, go ahead and do that. I did put out an alert before the central bank yesterday saying that two things: that I was taking profits out of the trade from over here to over here, right? Awesome trade, a couple hundred pips. That the central bank was meeting in a couple hours and I wanted to be on the sidelines, that I thought they would be on hold, that this would lead to a pop that I could sell into. And right over here, actually, right here, within, I don't know, let me see the entry. 73.27, 10 pips under market. I took, I positioned myself into one trade as an extension of that, waiting for price to come back in, and I'll be looking for another entry as we get closer. If we get up into this resistance way up here, which is about 50 pips higher. Yep, Jeff, the link is right here. Look, boom. This is the Telegram channel. What I do, send important updates up through Telegram, record 1 to 3 minute videos, and then send the link here to the Telegram. All right, so that's a really good resource that you should definitely be involved in. So we also have the Japanese yen. There's a lot going on today. The Japanese yen, first of all, I think is the weakest. Swiss franc also has come off. Dollar's firming up a little bit, but look at the pre-markets open. S&P up 1.3%, breaking out of this channel, breaking above this resistance. Unstoppable. Tesla, I think Tesla's trading above $900 pre-market this morning. Straight parabolic advance. They're saying it's the next $1 trillion company. Euphoria has entered the markets big time. So the coronavirus has been completely contained. It's not going to affect the world economy whatsoever, and everything's great. Everything's awesome. Crude is up 3% today. Definitely will be affecting the Canadian dollar. I'm just trying to give like a little bit of an overview of what's going on around us before we start getting into the charts, and that's great sarcasm that everything is contained. Let me pull up this chart. So just for some perspective, just for some important perspective, it was 2 weeks ago that there were 250 cases of the coronavirus in China. All right. Today, this is confirmed cases, there's over 20,000. So I hope these cases over here, these are regional, definitely to Asia, that they stay at these low levels. But if we went from official cases 250 in 2 weeks to 20,000, right? What is that? 100x. right? Well, let's see what happens 2 weeks from now. All right. So in other words, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking at this as an opportunity uh, to scale into trades, right? I'm going to talk about the Australian dollar, Japanese yen first as we get started here because the central bank was on hold. We saw some Australian dollar appreciation, and also because we have a huge risk on tone this morning, we're also seeing huge Australian dollar, Japanese yen appreciation, up almost 1% on the day. Look, I'm focused in on this trend line over here. This after it broke over here, right? This became support. It broke here to the downside. This held as a resistance a little higher, right? And now we're back below it. So I did position in small over here at 73.27, and I have another order resting up here, right below the resistance. Now I had taken I took my entry over here, and I took profit down here. So this is more or less I'm looking at as an extension of that current trade, and this is outside of my wheelhouse. This is more playing the current environment, and so far, amazing. Let's see if it continues. I think this is a bounce. I think what we're seeing is a bounce. Of course, this is pretty scary to me in the fact that the equity markets are seeing that basically, look, if there's any type of trouble, all that's going to happen is they're going to cut rates further and add stimulus. Basically, overnight, the Chinese market looked pretty contained. Everyone's happy with that. Risk on, huge. I think it's just a retrace in the current environment. Yeah, absolutely. Hanero, we'll get into that next then. I have it right here. Let's look at the pound had come off. The pound is coming off yesterday's losses, but let's see how much right now. All right, this is the support down here. First of all, notice it. All right, held again last night. Took out some stops to the downside up here, but still in the middle of this range to the lower end. You got some resistance way up here. All right, looks pretty negative to me still. Let's look at the pound US dollar. Hanero sent over a chart this morning. He was taking advantage of that. Same thing over here. Oh, look. This looks like a false break to the downside over here. This probably got a lot of traders caught on the wrong side of the market. Still looks pretty ugly. This is Hanero trading the 30-minute this morning, and he focused here on this false break over here. He said, "Banks and institutions stop hunting retail." Let's say this. Let me move this over. All right, Hanero. I view two trades, trade one and trade two over here, but it definitely clogs up the visually what's going on a lot over here. I'm trying to look at where you got into trade one and why. Could you? I would like to look at that further. Could you set up just with trade one on the chart? We'll take a look at it and then we'll move to trade two. That way we get a clearer view. You could see what you were looking at and how you did it. I see you have the 200 MA you're looking for, and also this supply zone and this resistance up here that you're looking for take profit in. 14 pips. Oh, awesome. All right, let's get going. World trade, crude oil, WTI is up on the day, up 3%. Now we got some resistance right over here. This is the next level that I want to focus in on, right? Stay below there. Very, very, very bearish. Get above there. All right. Let's see what kind of work it does. I know OPEC is a concern. OPEC is talking about calling an emergency meeting. Saudi Arabia is especially trying to perhaps cut production costs. That obviously could have an effect on the Canadian dollar, which I think the low oil price and selling has put a lot of pressure on it. Gold is selling off today, big time, losing this support over here. We're under it now. Let's see if we regain it this session. If not, we're coming down and look much lower. Watch 1547 area. That's support for another entry if we come off it. And if we break through there, like we said yesterday, we're coming down towards the 1520, 1518 area. But definitely gold coming off today. We're seeing huge risk. The theme of the day is risk on. The theme of the day is risk on. And I think you're just seeing trades get a little bit of a retracement in them. Although the equities are showing that, everything's great. All right. Dollar firming up today. Looks pretty good. I think at 10 o'clock we have a bunch of US data, all medium impact type stuff. Everything here looks pretty status quo. US dollar, Canadian dollar. This is interesting right here. This is interesting because we've broken above this resistance. This was a big resistance, and now we've come back down and tested it. All right. If so, this looks really interesting. Let's go down to the daily time frame. We've taken out this level of the one resistance, blew through this one, now through these two over here. I would say this looks like it has a very possible chance of extending further to the upside. This could be the big turn in the Canadian dollar. Of course, we've seen quite a move already. Do you chase it up here or do you wait? I don't know. My only concern here is what's going to happen with oil, and I don't know. I want to see it hold this level, come back off. I don't know. I'm undecided. I'll come back to it. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. This looks like an opportunity to perhaps get short the Canadian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Why? We've taken out this important level on of support is now resistance. We're coming back up, testing it now. If we retrace down, I think of the two, I think the Canadian dollar is will remain stronger than the New Zealand dollar. Again, my whole base case and thesis here is that this is just a temporary reprieve in the current environment. Is this the turn? Is this like the moment that we're going to see the turn in the markets? Not in my book. I don't think so. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm looking to sell any of these rallies that we've seen. Steve, DJ, no, Hanero, love looking at the charts. Keep signing them. Let's keep looking at those short term trades and help clarify for everyone. Gold is selling off big time. Gold is selling off big time, but silver is not. Silver down 0.3%, while gold is off 1.1% today. This looks like a buying opportunity here. Buy the dips on silver. Of course, you have this support down here. Let's see how price reacts. I need to go through a bunch of charts before I have any clarity on what's going on overall. All right, I'm going to start there. I need to go through a bunch of charts before I have a better idea of whether or not these moves are going to extend further, or whether or not we might see even a type of reversal this morning during the first half hour of trading. Things are very volatile, all right, which is awesome. So let me get a good read. Gold taking out that support over here, though. You can see it. Let's see where it closes today. Right now, I'd be more inclined to wait and see rather than jumping in here and buying this dip. First, wait to see if you get a close back above this support, this broken support, or if this closes as resistance. That's number one. Number two, if we don't close back above it, let's see what happens down at 1547 and look to lean in there, right? If we lose that, all right, then we have a bigger pullback, and that's fine. They're all buying opportunities in the long run. We did actually, if you just go back into that Telegram group right there, there was a good look at gold. And that's probably the best look at gold to look at right now. There you go. All right. Thank you, Hanero, very much. So this I could see a lot better. First of all, noticing this was the false breakdown over here, right? This is why no matter what time frame you're trading, this is the support down here at 0.2962. This is why we always look for a break. Don't ever trade the breakout. Look for a retest. And you can see the retest, the broken support didn't hold as resistance. Price never made a lower low, right? That saves you on both sides, saves you on the false break, and then saves you on the retest up. Never was there an entry to the downside. Now, he waited, got back above this area of supply over here, right? He has highlighted nicely. Let's move this over. Once he got back above here, look, here's the retest. And this time, this broken resistance held the support and come back up, right? Look at that trade. Beautiful. Beautiful trade. Let's take a look at the second trade also, Hanero, if you get a chance. We'd love to see it. Move this up over there. All right. We'll come right back down to that. This is pound Canadian dollar. It looks messy here. Looks messy. So my inclination right now is to sell pound rallies. We'll see how that works out. US dollar, Canadian dollar on the weekly, it's come up very hot and hard. So I like to keep things simple and to keep things simple very, very clearly. This line over here that's green right now over at 1.3264, that was very big resistance. We had this trend line over here. Both of those have been broken now. That leads me to be very bullish on the pair. In order for me to turn bearish, we got to get both of those lines have to be taken out. This new support, this was big resistance broken so far, testing as support. If we come back up, that's an entry to the upside. If we get below this trend line again, then at that point, I'm proved wrong, and then I could turn bearish. If you're looking to sell this on the weeklies or on, wait for some type of confirmation, you have to get below this trend line over here and below this broken resistance, which is now support, to even think about fading that move. And then if you're fading, if those things happen and then you're fading it from the top. All right, just wait for a little bit of confirmation before looking to fade a breakout like that. But you just broke out two big resistances, trend line resistance, and then this big resistance over here. Same thing happened in this area over here. Here you had the break, the retest, and up. This was the big one where I've said if we get above it, I then turn bullish on US dollar, Canadian dollar. That's what's happening now. Oil is trading off the highs, but the dollar index pretty strong. Again, I've back down here. I was looking at. I said the next move will be a test back up here. Well, let's see what happens if we do get back up here on the dollar index. And is it possible we continue this breakout and this bull flag continues? Yeah, it's entirely possible. Right now, we have a breakout occurring on the dollar index. Not only do we have the breakout, we've come back and tested the broken bull flag, this broken trend line. It's holding as support, and we're coming back up. So until we fail, by failing, it means coming back down into this pattern, getting below this support. I'm bullish the dollar. All right, I'm not bearish on the dollar here during a breakout. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Japanese yen is weak this morning. Dollar is strong. We're getting back up. into a couple of areas of resistance. We're at one right now. It's light. It gets a little bit heavier up here. I don't know how light this is anyway. This is pretty decent. Um, the two might battle it out here now for a while after that big move up on the US dollar. Either which way, I don't think this is a pair to focus on right now. There's little clarity and two strong pairs. Euro, same thing right now. It is between resistance and support, and it's halfway between. Although anything above this, let me zoom in over here. Anything above this line over here, this was the line from Chicago's PMI, big miss. This was yesterday's touch. Anything above, a slight, definitely a slightness towards the euro here, but it, you know, I think the dollar looks good here. The dollar does look good against all the currency pairs. Um, this is neutral between resistance and support, and we're just dead center. This is where it gets interesting on the Japanese yen pairs. We're seeing huge risk on moves today. How long do they last? Look, this is resistance over here, right? Right now, we're in a downtrend. We're looking to sell resistances, strong resistance, and this is a strong resistance. Any retest of this, if it holds and price resumes backwards, for me, it's a gift of an entry. Again, I don't think this whole coronavirus is contained. Uh, it's spreading like wildfire. Just a couple of weeks ago, again, we only had 250 cases, right? So 100x. Let's see what happens 2 weeks from now. I know the U.S. this morning was on the wire saying that supply chains are not going to be disrupted and everything is contained. I hope to God that's the case. I'm still definitely risk off minded, and this is just a bounce here, giving opportunities to take further positions. That's exactly what I did on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. I got in a big trade over here, short on the open. I took profits yesterday. Again, that was shared during Telegram, almost 200 pip move on a big position. I just took a trade short at 73.27 as we got back towards this resistance, and I'm gonna do it again up here into this big resistance over here. All right. I need to pause just one quick second. When I come back, I'm gonna take a look at. I'll take a look at it first right now. Here's the second trade we're looking at over here. All right, let me get first a little bit of bearing. So it looked like the entry on the second trade came after price. See this down price bar over here is a 30-minute candle we're looking at. After price reversed, basically an engulfing pattern over here, and started breaking out to new highs again. He entered with this an area stop was down at 1.30009. That is trying to get a look at where we are right here at the top of this little supply zone. I'm not sure if it's right at the top of there. So I'll look at a chart in a minute and tell you. Two good trades this morning. I want to see on the US dollar Japanese where that stop was. All right, so it was below these wicks down here. It was below these last wicks. That's where he put it. He didn't put it below the top of that last support. The reason he did that, he figured if price comes down and makes a lower low than any of these wicks, he's wrong on the trade. I'm not sure. You're coming into a little bit of resistance right here on the pound US dollar. I still have a negative bias towards the pound. We saw some big moves up. I think that was definitely just, again, a retracement of yesterday's price action, although it's a big retracement. You're definitely neutral. Support, this trend line acting as resistance up here. Until we clear above 144, there's no way that I am bullish on the pair. Until we clear above there, I'm not bullish. When we do get above there, same thing as on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm definitely bullish. Before we take a look at the US dollar Swiss franc, I'm taking just a 30-second break here. I'll come back into it. We'll take a look. All right. Thank you guys for waiting a second there. I do appreciate it. Oh, okay. You want to take a look at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen? I have no idea who could be winning this tug of war over here. Wow. Wow. Um, well, what do y'all think? I have no idea, to be honest. This is two strong currencies facing off with each other. You had the huge breakout, and then the Japanese yen strength across the globe came in um, down into this area of support and now into this resistance. So I'm leaning towards us seeing further Japanese yen strength. And I think today's move is a move to be faded. How soon? Timing's everything. Wait for confirmation on the downsides over here. So if you were believing that we're going to see, if Japanese Swiss franc Japanese yen, if you're believing that this is actually now the virus is contained, that the global growth is going to be basically migrated by any central bank activity, and that from here in everything looks pretty good, you want to get long right here the Swiss franc Japanese yen. But if you think that there's still big trouble ahead at this point over here as you come into this resistance, if we start making lower lows, this is the place you want to get short leaning into this resistance. You have one lower low over here off the resistance. Second one usually works out better. So as long as you trade, as long as you're trading below, 112.73, and you resume outward of it, downwards, you could take it to the short side. Do you get long over here if we start making higher highs? I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't. But there are plenty of trades that I avoid that work out wonders. All right, it's a little cloudy though. That's a little cloudy. There's a okay. I like this pattern. Thank you, DJ. Sending this over. This is the daily Swiss franc Japanese yen. He's looking at a possible head and shoulders forming. I wish I could zoom in a little bit on these charts, but a very clear look. Let's look at it together right now. I just want to draw a neckline in over here. I'm gonna actually go down and be safer here. So normally I'm drawing my trend lines over here, focusing on the closes. I'm focusing on the wicks over here just to give it a little bit of room. So if you're playing this, and here you have the left shoulder, right? Let's just keep this as a point of reference as we come back to it. Head, and now possible right shoulder forming up here. Could be, DJ. We'll keep following it. We'll keep following it. It's a very similar play as playing off this resistance over here, right? Again, you start making lower lows over here off this resistance, and as long as you're holding above 112.74, that gets you in probably in a little bit better if you do resume downwards, and then you have a free trade coming into this trend line. Um, and just put this down over here, right? Until you break below that support over here, that's when things start really falling. And if that were to happen, there's a good chance you come back down into there. Uh, Again, for me, I think this Japanese yen move is going to be faded in the long run. But you again, huge risk on move today, all over. Gold off huge, Japanese yen off big time. It looks to me like oil's already being faded, right? That's going to continue weighing here on the Canadian dollar. Um, this is a possible long entry here if you start making higher highs. You've come very far and fast, but that's because there's been a big fundamental change in the market. Amir, Martin, Reb, what's going on, everyone? Good to see you all today. Let's keep going because there's a lot more to look at. Where are we on time? We're about 5 minutes to the U.S. equity opening. Um, Japanese yen. Oh, here you go. This is interesting here on the euro Japanese yen as we come into this resistance over here. Um, let's see how big the resistance is. First of all, it's a pretty good line over here. This is one to watch now as price comes into this resistance. Again, there's a lot of momentum today on risk, but I'm looking to fade the move. Um, why it is possible, everything is okay and contained. I'm not seeing that yet. So So anything below this resistance over here, I'm definitely very bearish. We've come back up into that resistance already. Took one look at it. You can see over here towards the bottom of these wicks over here. If you look at the line horizontally, it's kind of where we came up to over here. But you're looking at playing two weak pairs, and I don't really like that so much. I don't like that so much right now in this environment. I'm looking right now for retraces on the pairs that I've been focused in on, and that's where I'm looking to do my hunting. Is if I was, I mean, all I could say over here is that below this resistance over here, I'm definitely bearish, looking for any resumptions off of this resistance to the downside. Was this the first indication during London? Absolutely. Again, it's very rarely up and down, right? Most of the time, it's breaks. Normally, the second break is better than the first on the downside. So watch what happens over here. Um, if you're looking to take a short trade here on the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and then you're not short already. If you're short already, I assume your stop is right above the resistance. If you're not short yet, I'd wait for price to confirm to the downside. There's no way at looking at getting along until you clear above this resistance over there. Bitcoin, Bitcoin remains pretty bullish, looks very good. Holding up above this last breakout here, above the 91 level, consolidating it, still looks good. If we break down here and we come down and challenge either 87 or 85, watch how price reacts on both those levels. I think right now is absolutely an accumulation time for Bitcoin. You just want to be buying off of all supports as possible, and positioning in, getting ready for the next. You have about 5, 6, at most 7 months to build a position in Bitcoin, and then after you won't have another opportunity to build until your next opportunity for for an accumulation and reaccumulations on a Bitcoin is going to be basically about 3 years from now, after the bull. And once we peak out on Bitcoin, believe me, we're coming off, between 80 and 90% once again. It's going to happen, and we'll trade back down, somewhere towards, I don't know if it's $30,000 or whatever it'll be. But right now, you have the opportunity. Any type of pullbacks into supports on Bitcoin, look to buy them. As long as we're above, I would say, as long as we're above 8,000, we're extremely bullish on Bitcoin. Extremely bullish. Overall, definitely even just bullish on Bitcoin right now. Short, Martine. Yeah, that looks like a short. It's just, here we go back to it. We live stream every day, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern time, every day, not Monday through Friday. This is definitely right here, the short entry, if you took it, right? Into this resistance, price comes down and confirms lower. If you didn't get in here into this short here, this would have been during London. If you're looking at this trade, as long as you're below this resistance, you're short. You're looking for a short. Now, what I'm saying is, it's not always up and down. Very often, you have this first poke, price comes up. The second poke down is going to be the one that falls. if you're not in this trade right now, if you didn't take this entry during London this morning and you're watching for an entry, it might be smart to wait for price to make a lower low. All right. Right now that's down here. And if this bar closes up, move it to down here and then wait, keep moving it until price triggers. That's all I'm saying. If you're not in the trade now, you might want to keep watching it and wait until you get into the trade. If you're already short over here, yeah, that's a valid entry. And your stop, I assume, is above this resistance. We get above this resistance, at that point, you're leaning in towards the long side. Look at the New Zealand dollar, another 10% today. This is totally sustainable. Yeah, I see a short there too, Reb. Look at that. That's a 4x, over a 4x in just 3 months. The New Zealand dollar, US dollar looks very, 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 very bearish. Price is on a risk on day. Price is just consolidating, right? Dollar looks like it's getting ready for the next leg down. Dollar is holding up pretty well. I don't see that turning. We have our lines. We'll know when the dollar is turning or when we want to get bearish the dollar. Again, I don't think that the current situation is under control. I think it gets worse before it gets better. Today is just a retrace day. This looks very bearish. So, but the Australian dollar, US dollar came off a bit more because of the central bank activity over here. So this looks like a better spot over here to look at a short than the New Zealand dollar, which is consolidating down nicely. But we have big resistance right over there. This looks like a gift, an opportunity to look for shorts if we resume off there. And actually, that's what. Although I'm looking, it's still trading the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Um, I'm going to be focused back over here as well. Let's see if the U.S. holds these gains after this opening today. WTI has come off hard from this morning's highs. Is that weighing on the Canadian dollar? I'm watching here for a long entry. I don't know if I'm going to take it when I'm taking the trades. Obviously, I'll let you all know. There's lots of opportunity in the market. There's lots of opportunity in the market. My base case remains. This is just a retrace of the current down moves. If anyone, this site is fantastic for the data. It shows the confirmed cases around the world, those recovering, which definitely you can see here. We're getting better. We like to see that. So come back down. Let's look at this. We are currently in, today is today's February the 4th, right? So this is 10 days ago. We had 571 confirmed cases in the world, right? What's that number today? 20,528. These are official numbers. You have to remember there aren't even enough test kits in China to test people. There aren't rooms in hospitals for new patients to come in. They now just took an arena and built hospital beds inside the arena. They've built 2 new hospitals. Um, this is just the official numbers, and look at the growth in just 2 weeks. So, do I think that we've slowed down here? Or do I think that in Thailand, Singapore, Japan, that we're going to be seeing triple digit and then 4 digit numbers within the next 2 weeks? That's what I think is going to happen. So I'm looking at this as just, a little bit of a retrace in the current risk on moves we've had. Yeah, that was phenomenal the way they were able to build that hospital in 10 days. That's like a human engineering feat. 100%. Rikesh, and again, I apologize in advance of anyone's name that I don't pronounce correctly. I do sincerely apologize. Um, as far as longer shorts right now, like the whole goal of this is to make you a better trader, and I want you to be able to see and learn how to see these trades themselves. If there's one thing I'm sure of, is that people that spend time here, people that put in the time into the investing in themselves, spend the time either trading here live with us, watching, learning, and or watching the replays, that their trading improves. And the whole idea is to get you to see and know uh, when you should be taking a long or a short, and then what pair for why. And that's not going to come the first moments you spend here with us. So give it a few days, please, but don't take any trades whatsoever. Invest in yourself for a few days just to begin, so that you learn to see how to look at the markets in a different way, and then we'll take it step by step from there. But that's the first step, is definitely for you to first understand what's going on and be able to recognize things for yourself. Tipping point, I also agree with that. And I've seen inside footage. It looks like actually like a jail. Um, if you guys have noticed, there's lots of videos of people that in the streets are being taken away to be quarantined, and they do everything from smashing their head against the street, the concrete, to busting open their head, to fighting the people. Um, I, I I don't know what the people that go into quarantine does not look good for them, and the people obviously have heard stories and don't want to go. But the new hospital in the inside looks like a full maximum security prison, with when there's actually uh like a 18-inch foot and a half holes, square holes, with double entry on either side where they put the food. They don't. There's, it looks bad. Wow. I see it on the S&P too. I want to just So far we're making lower highs up here. We're back towards the resistance. You can see here on the S&P also. I guess this one is different. Instead of sloping down, this is almost like it's not a head and shoulders, but there's a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder, right? This is big resistance. What's the Nasdaq look like? Oh my goodness. That's 30-minute time frame I'm looking at. Sorry, guys. Wow. That's insane. Looks to me like the Dow's going to lead to the downside. Gold is off huge today. Again, I look at all of these. This uh, this is to me a move to fade on the risk on. I'm definitely thinking we're going to see further risk off in the days ahead and in the weeks ahead. Gold now below this important level over here at 1562. I think you got to close above it today to call this a false break. Otherwise, be a little patient here. Right now, let's drop down and look this on a small time frame. Actually, right now, this is a break and then a test of this broken support as resistance. If we start making lower lows, this is for the short term minded an opportunity to sell. Um, I would be looking as a buyer, which I am, to look more towards down towards 1550, 1547, so long as this broken support holds as resistance, and look for another opportunity if we retrace off here to buy there. If we lose this level, we could be coming down a little bit further. And we'll watch what happens towards 1522, 1518. But right now, instead of looking to be a hero, wait until you close back above this broken support. And then it looks a little bit safer to begin buying the dip over here. Otherwise, again, if we start making lower lows here, and this does hold as resistance now, uh, you have another opportunity to look at a little bit lower. Yeah, yesterday I exited my Australian dollar Japanese yen trade. Um, Again, this was taken on the opening last Monday, and it was taken as a big position. I sent out an alert on Telegram as I took profits down here before the central bank. So it was a big trade and almost a couple hundred pips. I just positioned in light size here at 73.27, and I have another waiting entry up here around 73.90, below the next resistance up there. Um, One's filled. Wait and see if the other one gets filled. I'm still, above below 74, 77 up here. I'm very, very, very bearish on the pair right now. A lot is happening that I'm looking at right now. This U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar is one that I'm following. I'm looking for a short here on the U.S. dollar, on the Australian dollar, U.S. dollar. Very neutral on the pound. Um, I will lean in. Maybe I'll be looking to lean in on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen on a short. If we come up a little further into this resistance area up here, the market looks really good. There looks like a lot of opportunity. Whenever I come off a very big trade, a very big win, I try not to get so aggressive so quickly. Australian dollar strongest pair today because of the less dovish central bank. This is only a matter of time before they will start looking towards the rate cut, whether that's going to be March, most likely April. Um, Again, I look at this as opportunities to sell the Australian dollar once price comes into nice resistance and holds it. Tesla up 15%. This is insane. Um, this is insane. I would love to see an updated positions on the shorts on the floats to see over the last week as price is almost doubled. How many shorts have gotten stopped out? All right, where are we all focused in on today? The markets are moving so beautifully over the last few weeks, uh, and I really hope this continues. I think in about 12 minutes we have some data coming out of the U.S. Let me pull up the medium impact news events. If you take a look. No, I guess they're less than medium. Let me pull it up for you. I can't post that there. Yeah, I'm sorry. These are all low impact news events. I could care less. I only focus sincerely on high impact news events, and of course some medium impact news events like we saw last Friday on the Chicago PMI. If there's a big miss or a big beat, they definitely impact prices. You want to take a look at the euro, Australian dollar? This looks like again, this looks like an opportunity to get long here. Um, Above this support over here is very bullish. Anyone that got this move off the central bank, you're still holding above right here. This last local impulse over here looks it looks very bullish over here. And again, I maintain as long as you're above that line over there, you're very bullish. The definitely the so far today the risk on move definitely is maintaining. Um, President Z did warn that the coronavirus actually risks maintaining stability. Of course, as a totalitarian leader of a communist regime, he's looking to make sure that there's no chance of the people revolting. But WHO is basically came off and said that there's no risk of a pandemic. Um, you know, we'll see what happens. Again, just 2 weeks ago, these numbers were very low, right? We've gone from 440 cases in 15 days to 20,000, over 20,000. Tesla ripping it. So Tesla's earnings were better than expected. They have their new model, the lower cost model, coming online soon. Um, but they also have some negative fact. The Shanghai plant right now, where a lot of the growth was supposed to come from, is currently offline due to the coronavirus situation, as well as hey, listen, the Chinese right now are trying to survive. They're trying to be able to have face masks and rice, right? That's and survive. No one is out there making money, right? Um, I'm not sure if buying a new Tesla is on their radar right now. I'm watching the Japanese yen pairs because we're coming close to resistance levels. There's got to be a way to find. Martine, I'm looking as these ray traces into strong resistances to look for opportunities to short them. Is that what you're seeing? Are you buying into this risk on move that it's going to continue? Clearly for me, right? This is resistance. You got to get above this resistance here before I can look at the long side. There's a decent amount of room between here and here. You got a lot of work to do over there, but this would be really strong resistance. I'm leaning into these resistances. Price makes lower lows off them. I like getting I like leaning in towards them, back towards the risk off move. Gold too. This when is going to be the right opportunity? We'll find out. But all of this to me looks like an opportunity to get back in the direction of the current trend we've been seeing, and we just have a big risk on day today. Now, I'm always looking to take. I'm not looking for the turn in the markets. I'm always looking to trade with the trend, right? Uh, During pullbacks. So I'll always be late, but I'm looking to make easy money in between, right? Yeah, we'll go over things as many times as we need to, because each time we look at them, we're obviously learning more and staying in the flow. So just the top down overview looks very bullish as we maintain above this support over here. Get below this support, which it looked like this morning we were breaking out below, and then since that has been bought up, uh, the warning signal definitely starts flashing, as it did below this trend line over here, right? Um, which would take us into another level, another test down here, I think. And if we break down there, things are very, very bearish. Once we broke this trend line over here, I'm leaning towards the bearish side over here. Let me look down on the 8 hour, right? Again, Friday we were talking about, as everyone was a euphoric, that watch out over here. The negotiations are going to begin. This could be sell the news. Um, you could see over here during London, we started taking out these lows over here, and it was been brought up. I remain bearish on this pair. Right now, after the break of this trend line down here, this holding, we have a lot to do before I become bullish on the pound, mainly because of what's going on as far as the negotiations are not going to go well between the UK and the EU. There is lots of data the third week of February. If that data is very positive, then we could start seeing an extended bullish move on the pound. But before then, I think there's going to be some pressure on it. we have a lot of work to do before I could get bullish. I'm not even looking at a bullish level right now. I'm bearish on the pair. I like that too, Heath. Definitely up now at a resistance level. Bill, I'm gonna Bill, that's a good look at gold right there. That's let's take a look. So right now, overall, I continue to be very bullish on gold for multiple reasons. First of all, in the current risk-off environment we have, I'm very bullish. Gold actually has been leading the strongest, stronger than the U.S. dollar. It's been stronger than the Japanese yen and stronger than the Swiss franc these last couple of weeks. Today, we're seeing a big risk-on move, and this is a sell-off, right? But I look at it as a buying opportunity. But as far as do you lean over here to buy now, I would wait until you get back above this broken support over here today before you look at buying, because we could continue down further. We've actually, if you look down on a smaller time frame, um, we broke through the support, came back up, tested as resistance, and are now coming off. So this could continue, right? Where's the next level to look at? Down here, this next support, right around 1550. As long as you're below this resistance, wait till you get down here to look to lean into to buy if it holds and price retraces up. If we take out this level down here, then there could be an extended sell-off. We could be looking much lower, and if that was the case, obviously long term we're looking for any opportunities to buy in to gold. But right now, today, wait for us to get back above this resistance here before you look at buying the dip here. Otherwise, watch what happens around this support down here and see if you can find a better opportunity to lean in. Equities so far are they do look toppy to me over here, but they are holding on to their gains so far, and they have huge gains on the day, right? Outside of any type of new escalation as far as spreads person to person outside of China, it's a good chance they maintain their gains today. Um, but we do have a lot of pairs coming into some important strong resistance levels. Here, even on the Euro Japanese yen, you're also at a strong resistance level. Now, I think you have better opportunity if you get the turn in the yen pairs to play off the weaker pairs, which are the strong pairs today. New Zealand dollar, right? This looks very good coming into this resistance over here. Heath has a good pair, the Australian dollar, Swiss franc, right? That looks very good coming into this resistance. You start seeing price make lower lows. That's just completely neutral. And then, of course, there's the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. And the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Bill, that's of course, anytime, that's what we do. But if you look down here at this Telegram group, I send out alerts. That alert that I just shared with you was sent out yesterday afternoon. And if you're interested in getting those updates, just go ahead. If you have a Telegram account, just join that group over there. Ooh, US dollar, Euro US dollar come back down. Another retest of this support over here. It looks like it could be turning, could be holding there for now. I think tomorrow we have the ADP employment numbers, so we could wait to see what happens there. Let's take a look at the calendar. So we have tomorrow. This was a big, huge miss last week, right? So we also have ISM non-manufacturing numbers. That's fine. Later in the week, we have non-farm payrolls. Um, so I think that's what forward-looking the market's really looking to on Friday. After the big miss last month, this should probably come in line or better. I would expect here the same, in line or better. We'll see. That's the big one, Martine, for sure. All right. You got to be a cat. You got to be a cat on the prowl, waiting to pounce. See a huge amount of waves coming in. So it's a question of picking your wave. This is the first pullback on the Euro New Zealand dollar since the breakout over here. The pullback looks very controlled right now. Lots of nibble for Rustin, lots coming into the market right now. But outside of maybe this topping here, I'm I'm not ready to make my move, but the market is definitely coming in here very nicely. These are really all setups. I'm going to go through them later. Crude giving up all of its gains is not a good sign here. Watch the US dollar, Canadian dollar. Always be aware of the time of day too when you're looking for your setups. Coco looking to go counter trend here, looking buying Australian dollar, Japanese yen. You did break out above this resistance right here, not on the daily yet, right? And for that to be a break, you want to see this on the daily time frame. Well, that line is a little bit of art, right? And not science. It's this whole area. Look at this trend line over here too, okay? As long as you are below this trend line goes back 1 year, all right? Here we broke out to the upside, held as support, right? This is when we were bullish the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This was the Iran episode, Iran US. Boom, risk off, and then risk back on. And then this has been the coronavirus outbreak, risk off. All right, today the Australian Central Bank stood on hold, was a little bit less dovish. You have a total risk on move this morning, but you're back into this resistance. You got to break above this trend line resistance. And then I think even for me personally, above this resistance right here, to think about getting bullish the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Right now, I'm looking to actually sell these resistances and sell this one too if we get up into it, and for the trend to resume downwards. New Zealand dollar, US dollar looks like, let's see, I have it marked as green right now. Here on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, also off of this support, coming back up, testing this resistance down here again. Anything below this resistance here, I think you remain pretty bearish in this current environment. But if you get above this resistance here and you get a possible long entry into here, there's a decent amount of room there that could work out. I'm bearish. Interesting, Reb. I'm curious here on the Euro US dollar, which is kind of floating in place. As long as this support here is holding, I definitely have a bullish bias towards the US dollar, the Euro US dollar. Although I'm super neutral between this resistance and this support. But above here, it looks more like we come back up and test this. Although if we take out this line over here, this was the Chicago PMI big miss. Um, at that point, I'm looking for a retest of this. Above this, I'm looking for a retest of the resistance as well. Oh my goodness. Let's look at that right now in 1 second. I'm gonna post a link to y'all first. Let's look at that right now in 1 second. I'm gonna post a link to y'all first. I'll do it later. What do I think is gold tanks? Let's see what's going on with gold. There we go. Gold coming back down into the pocket. Just real quick, let's look at gold, right? As soon as the support got taken out, we had the retest into it. We're coming off now. So what we're looking for next is a look down here at this support area. See if it holds, and if it holds and resumes off, that looks like a good buying opportunity there on gold. I don't think gold is coming off so much as this is just a bit of a normal retrace after these enormous moves since the new year. Uh, since the new year, well, this was when actually the dollar was super weak, coming in the last couple of weeks of December when you saw some big inflows, year-end inflows. And then since January 1st, the dollar has been super strong, with the dollar also strong, the US dollar strong. I don't think this is dollar related today. I think this is risk off related today. And we're seeing that across the board. We're seeing just just a retrace of the current moves, except for oil. Oil is maintaining its bearish stance, but you're seeing the Japanese yen off, you're seeing gold off, and you're also seeing the Swiss franc off. I don't think that's a dollar related move, because if you look at the dollar since January 1st, here's January 1st, look at this strong dollar, super strong dollar. And then look at gold also the same time period from January 1st, super strong gold. So gold has been strong with a strong dollar. So gold is playing more of a risk off safe haven, as well as it's playing. Well, it's not. I mean, it's so weird here that this is where China just did a massive amount of stimulus to see gold trade off on that. But overall here, this move on gold coming back to here, this is all central bank related, and that's going to continue. So you're looking to buy gold on any dips. Don't worry about the dollar. Gold is acting strong with a strong dollar, um, and that should continue. Look for an opportunity to lean into support to buy gold. If this support holds here and gold retraces up, great opportunity to buy. If this support breaks here, all right, give it some room. We could go much lower. Which part there, Coco? I could go into anything that you're interested in, but of what I just spoke about, the fundamentals regarding the first of all, you have the risk off aspect with the coronavirus contributing to what's going to be a global slowdown and even perhaps a global recession. And then you also have gold bid as well as a hedge against central bank activity, because the central banks are just increasing their liquidity, which is why you see gold with a strong dollar also acting strong. Silver not off nearly as much as gold today, and coming back down into a support level right now as well. I think there's better opportunities in the market than gold right now. I'm not focused in on looking to buy gold. Now, gold obviously, let's just drop down to the 15-minute period. You can see it's off, $6 in just the last 15 minutes. Now, over here, when gold was trading, broke below this support over here today, as it was coming up and testing the broken support as resistance. And this is where, when it just started resuming down, we were looking at it. If gold closed back above this broken support, which is holding as a resistance right now on the daily time frame, you might want to be interested in looking to buy gold. Uh, Now, as this resistance held, we were looking for gold to come back down into the support area. If gold comes down and tests this support area, as long as it holds, and then you see price reversing upwards, yeah, that's an opportunity to step in there and buy gold. Um, Now, if this support gives way, I would give it some time. We could see a little bit further lows, but I mean, it's very simple. Lean into support and buy up support as long as it holds, right? Sell on resistance. So I'm not looking at gold right here. Gold's also down a point and a half, right? I'm not looking to catch bottoms. You come in. I don't day trade, right? If you were a day trader, as you come down into the support, and then if you see it holds and price comes off it, yeah, you could take a buy off of that support. But I trade off the 8 hour time frame, and I'm not close. I'm not looking at a buy over here. I see lots of pairs coming into trade setups. I see US dollar, Canadian dollar is broken out, and so far on the retest is holding this broken resistance as support. So it looks like a possible buy. I'm not sold on the dollar making much of move though, right? On through the rest of the week. So I'm leaning towards the crosses. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, as you come back up into this resistance over here. I do like this. You had an opportunity maybe during London to get short over here. I might, if the opportunity allows during London, be looking here. I'll update everyone later on that one through the Telegram. Australian dollar, US dollar coming into the strong resistance. I like it. I like this a lot. If this holds over here, I'm definitely betting on the dollar over the Australian dollar right now. Euro, Japanese yen, you're coming into strong resistance also. This is a good place to lean into a short, but the euro is relatively strong compared to other pairs. If we get another risk on move, it's going to be the weakness is going to lead in the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, again, Canadian dollar. Euro, Australian dollar, this move by the central bank here, which sent a temporary appreciation in the Australian dollar. If you see price resuming off of this, so nearby local swing support right there, that's a good opportunity to look for a long over there. I'd staying away of the, this is two strong pairs. I'm not interested in playing the US dollar, Japanese yen. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen coming into strong resistance also on this risk move, this risk on move, which is just again, got this is risk off. This is just a small retrace back into strong resistance. I'm looking to sell this if price resumes off it. This trade looks good over here. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, same thing. You're in a strong risk off downtrend, and now this is just a small retrace. Are you guys picking the bottom here? I don't pick bottoms. I look to sell off strong resistance in strong downtrends. So I'm looking to lean in over here as well. So lots of like a big set of waves is coming into the market. It's just a question of waiting and picking my setup right now. Also the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, as we come back down again off of the support here, a place to take profits, and I did. I updated it through the Telegram. I took profits down here, but again, and this was a higher than sized position trade because of the dynamics of what was happening in the world. Um, right, coming off a huge trade, I don't look to get aggressive so quickly. Waiting to see as things develop. We're now coming back down into this resistance over here. This is a place to look into to see if we could sell. If not, up towards here would be another place to lean in to sell. But I'm not looking to buy. I don't believe we've bottomed on this. I don't think we've seen the peak of the global slowdown caused by the coronavirus here. I believe we're just getting started. Let me include this link for people in the chat. That coincides with my level right there. See if this holds or not. If it breaks, I think we come down and test the low of Thursday. Watch US dollar Canadian dollar here. Coming off this, you have the breakout of resistance, coming back down, testing a support, and now resuming upwards. Still some work to do, and time of day won't be the best. Gold, gold remains. It's off big time today. It's off a point and a half. So obviously, you know, if you're a short-term trader over here, uh, especially over the next 15 minutes, we could see a little bit further of an impulse downwards off this support, and then if this support holds, you see price resuming upwards. All right, but I wouldn't be buying this time of day. Um, Look, I trade off of the 8 hour time frame. We're coming back down, testing this support over here. Even if we look at the analysis I just sent on gold, that's my look at gold yesterday. Oh, bigger perspective here, gold remains super bullish, is going to remain super bullish. You're looking to buy off of any supports if you're not positioned into gold. Buying here towards the top right now. Let's see what happens as far as whether or not risk off comes back into the markets. There's no need, as gold is being sold off so hard, to be looking to lean into gold today when there's so many better opportunities. And look at all this purple. There's opportunities almost everywhere. So it's a question right now of really taking the best setup, right? So as this new wave approaches with all these different pair setup, which is a lot, it's a question of picking the best setup. Gold's off, over 1.5% today. Is that the best setup for me to lean into? No, I don't think so. That's not the one that I'm interested in. Australian dollar, US dollar, on the other hand, That looks like a good one, as the Australian dollar, because of the central bank last night, came back up. We saw this, appreciation on the less dovish than expected central bank, but we're into this resistance now, right? Um, this looks good. I mean, me personally, maybe overnight during London, because for me to get into this trade, I want to see price off the resistance start making lower lows, which on my time frame has not happened yet. If you were trading something like, day trading the 30-minute, you see that happening, lower lows. But I filter out that noise. I'm up on the 8 hour. So maybe during, possibly during London, this might be a setup that I'm interested in. Right now, I'm on the sidelines and I'm still waiting, and I'm going to figure out if any of these pairs are going to get green lighted here for a new trade. New Zealand dollar, also New Zealand dollar, US dollar looks pretty good. You could see that, you had the risk on today, and with the risk on, the New Zealand dollar has not really made a big move. What I see is, after this huge move down, this break of important support over here, this huge sell off, taking out multiple support levels, that the New Zealand dollar US dollar for the last 2 days has just been consolidating that breakdown. So is it possible it breaks out of here up the range and then you get to lean into this resistance? That's entirely possible, right? If you break above here, that you get to look at this resistance and sell that. But with with the risk on today, price hasn't done so much. As long as you're below this area, if you see price start making lower lows and you take that short, you might get another leg down if we get a risk off move. But I have to say, this is also not one that's leading my candidates for getting involved in a short here. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason why, two things. The reason why I'm back on the 8 hour time frame, I have, if this holds overnight through Asia, right? And we don't break out above here. If we break out above here, and then I'll watch this trend line, I'll watch this resistance, and this is my heavy resistance where I'm really looking to lean into. But I'm not looking to take the counter trend move on the long side. I'm looking to sell the trend, right? Off of strong resistances. We're at a strong resistance right now. Um, is it possible we break up here? Yeah, but the only way I would enter the trade is if price showed me an inclination that it was holding the resistance by making lower lows and bouncing off of it. So that's why right now you want to have that posture of a cat waiting to pounce. Whether you're a lion and just waiting in the grass, watching your prey, waiting for the moment to attack. And the moment to attack is not yet, but you're in a downtrend at a resistance. It's so I like your memes. It's, yeah. I mean, you're waiting to get paid, and by being preemptive and being a lack of patience leads to a loss of account, for sure. Right? Just wait for that trade to come to you. And this is the beauty of following multiple pairs, is that you get to pick the best one. It's not a question of taking trades to trade. It's a question of waiting and taking the trades with the highest probabilities. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Hanero. 100% I'm with you. Euro US dollar, it looks, I'm gonna pull up a different chart here too. The Euro US dollar right now is testing a pretty important level. Time of day, guys. Time of day, right? We're working here towards the London close. The amount of time left, sorry, in the day, in this session in this morning to be looking at taking trades is slowly disappearing. Right here, this is an important level on the Euro US dollar. Let me give you better perspective by pulling out. First of all, resistance above 1.1099, support below 1.9934. We're in between right now. We're in between the resistance and the support. So it's neutral. All right. But this line over here, this green line over here, this was where price was trading last week. And then we had the big miss on the Chicago PMI. Price shot up into the resistance, came off, and then this was the beat on the manufacturing PMIs yesterday. Price came down into the support, bounced off of it, came into this resistance here, traded back down for a second test. It just made a lower low than yesterday's low. But so here we are. Is it going to hold? I don't know yet. Right? You're neutral here on the Euro US dollar. You're very neutral with actually above that green line over here, a bullish bias, in my opinion. You get below here, we close below here later today. It looks like we're coming back down and testing the support. But why we're above this support over here, this green line, I lean more towards us testing this resistance to the upside. All right, but you're neutral. What's that? Are we testing support right now? Look, the support is down here. This area over here, this is just a very near-term level to watch. Blair noted that we were testing down over here at the same time, the 200-day moving average. Again, above this area over here, it's a bullish bias that we're going to come back and test this resistance up here. If we break below it, then obviously we're coming down here. You're neutral. Neutral with a slight bullish bias. Usman, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard said in here, and you said it. I'm sitting on my hands here waiting for a setup of multiple pairs, showing patience, waiting, looking for and you call me a gambler? I think you're an idiot.
This guy said he thinks I'm a gambler, so I called him an idiot. King, I'm still watching the market here. I mean, at the very earliest, anywhere from a half hour to an hour from now. Rab, have a good one. Glad you're on point again. You got important data out of the US tomorrow. Non-farm payrolls, ISM non-manufacturing. For sure, the dollar is going to key off that, and then the big one is on Friday. I'm focused in down over here off of this support. This was the resistance we broke out of after the Chicago PMI. And again, if we hold over here, I remain with a bullish bias. We break back down and we're going to test the support. Yeah, I apologize about that, everyone. I probably should have been a little bit nicer. Um, and I don't mean to ruin the vibe and I apologize about that. I'll learn to be better. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I should be able to kind of dispose of the troll in a much more elevated intellectual way, make him look, you know, get him to show his intelligence in a different way. I can make him look stupid without saying he's stupid. I don't mean to anyway, I don't mean to bring you guys down. I apologize. The audio is on my side is online. I'm all in. I love it. Hanera, if if it's been a day or if it's been a couple of days since you restarted your machine, restart your machine today. Because yesterday afternoon we had the audio issue as well. Check out the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen over here. Oh, that's not even on my list. That should be on my list. Getting close to resistance up here as well. Yep. Super sleepy session. Super important one though. Important as far as there's a lot of potential setups. I think we might jump off here early today and do a big recap in the afternoon. just Blair, I don't know. I have not heard anything. Yeah, everyone, I think it's a good time for us to step away because the market is not there right now. And I either will come on this afternoon because I have a bunch of setups. I want to see how they're developing later today. I want to see if not any of these is gonna look. I'm looking during London, and I want to see if any of these is going to become my leading candidate. So I will get on later. I don't know if it'll be done through the Telegram channel, through TradingView, or get back online over here. But I will definitely be taking another look at the markets later. So I hope you all have a good one. And if I don't see you later, I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.